Early in July of 2016, Margaret and I took a vacation in Essex County in the southern part of Ontario in Canada. We had a wonderful time and went many places, but undoubtedly the highlight of our trip was a visit to the Canadian Historical Aircraft Association, which is located at the airport in Windsor, Ontario. They have a large number of airplanes inside the hangar, and we learned that they are painted yellow because that is the way the Canadian Air Force identifies a trainer. Some of the planes were identified by Canadian numbers or designations, and I know them, for example, as a Texan. But regardless, it was a very, very enjoyable experience. One of the highlights was seeing a Mosquito, which was a very, very famous bomber and fighter in World War II. It's made out of wood, and they are actually rebuilding one, and they hope to eventually have it fly. Additionally, they had a Lancaster, which was the workhorse of the British RAF, the Royal Air Force. And I found out that it carried 3 times more bombs than our famous B-17 did. And here is Lancaster that used to be at Jackson Park in Windsor, and which was taken down because of age and actually metal fatigue. But they have it in as good a working order as possible. The most impressive part of the tour at the museum for me was seeing the Canadian CT-133 sitting out on the runway. The CT-133 is, Canadian trainer CT, but it's the American equivalent of the T-33 trainer, which in turn is a longer two-pilot and co-pilot version of the FA fighter, which started life as a P-80 fighter. And I know so much about this plane because I grew up with this plane. The Cuban Air Force had T-33s when I was a kid. As you can see from the map, the main Air Force base in Havana was located about not even a mile and a half from my house, and as a child of 4, 5, 6, the nannies used to take me to see the T-33s, and the pilots would allow me to actually touch them. So seeing this plane really brought back memories. And among the memories that it brought back were the battles that took place right before and during the Bay of Pigs event in April of 1961. This is actual footage of the air raid that took place on Saturday, April 15th, 1961 at 6:15 in the morning. Remember, I was 13 years old and living about 2-3 kilometers away from this activity. The T-33 pilots ran to their surviving planes, but by the time they were able to get everything going and take off, the attacking B-26s were long gone. As you can see, there was extensive damage to the planes on the ground. However, subsequent air raids were canceled by order of the U.S. President, and the Castro Air Force was left with several T-33s, B-26s, Sea Furies, and they changed the history of the conflict. Here, one of the Castro Sea Furies destroys the Houston, which was a supply ship for the invaders on the ground, with the supply ship eventually all gone. After 72 hours, the invaders were forced to surrender. The Castro T-33s ensured that air superiority became air supremacy, and within 24 hours of the conflict, the invading forces had no air cover at all. The trip to the Canadian Historical Aircraft Association was very enjoyable. Mr. Robbins did a wonderful job of showing us around, and in the process he triggered a lot of memories of my youth when I actually saw some of these airplanes in action. The actual being able to touch and go inside the cockpit of a T-33 was truly the highlight of our trip.